Hey, there we go.
That was funny. I forgot to get a drink. So is that Mission Impossible? I was pouring a drink.
You were pouring, I was already slurping.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Good
Welcome
evening,
to the House of
everybody.
Madness.
2 hours of madness, yes. Interesting
Yeah.
week. Lots been going on, but that's for another day.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you won't believe what we were talking about beforehand.
No, you won't. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Hope everyone is well. As you know, Rocky has had his haircut, and I'm sure he'll come and show you himself at some stage.
He will insist.
He will insist because he's been a bit of a poser this week. He went out of the lock on Wednesday morning. And he was strutting, and when Lee come round, he was posing. It was unbelievable. Anyway, enough of Rocky. Although Nick has suggested he has his own channel.
Yes.
So I might do something. You never know. Whoops! What have I done there? I hit the space bar. Are we still live?
Yeah.
It's all right. I don't know what I did there. I hit something and...
well, that's still there. I'm still there.
Yeah, I'm still there. We're still live. Right.
Yeah.
So, what's been going on this week? Good evening, Pulsar. We've had 3,448 views in the last 7 days.
Okay. We'll mention you in passing.
Yes.
Afternoon, Mick.
Good afternoon. 16 new subscribers as well.
Yes. Yes.
So what have you been watching? So number 3, top 10 punk songs. 74. But
I still chortle at your graphic for that.
I know that. The thumbnail was pretty cool, wasn't it? Simple one this week, I'm afraid. Number 2, and I'm really amazed at this, the classic album, Lee's Picks of Rockabilly Albums. And the classic one we did the first week, Gene Vincent and the Blue Caps, 102.
Yes, it did. Well, it's going by. It's reminding people of where it all started, sort of.
But number 1 was last week's marathon, Dr. Feelgood. Bit of milk and alcohol, 124. So a very popular one, that one is. 28 days views, 15,207, 73 new subscribers in the last 28 days.
Oh, while I think about it, you have to put your hand up for Dr. Feelgood, don't you?
Oh, yes, I'll miss off their last album, but I will be doing something about that at a later date, so don't worry, fans. Anyway, what have you been watching? Number
TV.
3, TV. Top 10 punk songs, 366. That's pretty good. Top 10 artists with worst albums, 441, but still riding high, and people are still watching it. Is the Here Comes the Rain and Tony Clark in tribute. Top short. What do you think the top short was for last week?
I'm not sure. Go on. Surprise me.
Well, I put up one of the less known Quo albums, 1982. Well, 485 of you actually remember it and watched it.
There you go.
Yes, but still riding in the monthly one is Black Sabbath, the Seventh Star, and that's up to 621 now. So what are our big figures? The ones where everyone seems to want to know. 289,243. That just amazes me. And we have 5 subscribers of 1,500 subscribers. So 5 more people and we're at 1,500. So thank you very much, everyone. We are going in leaps and bounds. No change, just the numbers go up a bit. Derek Riggs' Iron Maiden is at 4,028. Still on the climb, Slade, 4,579. Quo albums rank is now 8,207. It just keeps on and on. People are still watching the very first video. Another 2 just under 2,000, and that's 10,000 for one video, and I'll be gobsmacked when that happens. Okay, what have I been listening to this week? Well, apart from finishing listening to Jonathan Wilson's other stuff, what I did today, John Martin, I'm really enjoying him. He's a bit different. I've done 18 of the 23. The Tubes, I've done 4 of the 8. The Weather Report, Getting in Me Jazz. Good evening, Richard from the Cheap Seats. They're not the cheap seats, they're the exclusive seats. Don't have cheap seats. No. Cheap seat on this show. Anyway, yeah, Weather Report, loving the bit of jazz. 12 of the 14. Caravan, I've been wailing away in Prague, 3 albums. Star One, 2 of the 3, 1 to do. Been doing a little bit of Gentle Gordon Lightfoot first thing in the mornings, which is lovely to listen to. 3 of the 19. I've started listening to the Manavishu Orchestra and thoroughly enjoying that again. I haven't listened to them for a long time, so that's been pretty cool. Split Ends, band from New Zealand, 3 of 9. Jonathan Wilson himself. I briefly listened to his albums when I did my thing, but I'm now listening to them to listen for the value. So 2 of the 7. 2 what got pulled out because I was looking for some more marathons to do. And was listening to some Blackfoot, a band that I've seen in the rain at Networth Park. Great band. And the Grateful Dead.
Who got a mention last week?
Who did?
The Grateful Dead.
They did, didn't they?
Yes, because they played the last concert in Frisco. The 8-hour concert.
That mega concert, yeah. But I've completed the Teenage Fan Club and the Texas.
Billy, that's not a subject for discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not up for discussion on this one, but thank you for coming in. You know, listen, watch, and enjoy. Right. I think it's matches and dispatches time.
All right. And for Richard, in case he's forgotten, the cheap seats used to be the threepennies down in the front row.
Yes. So it's matches and dispatches while I sort out
his lordship. Okay. So we've got 7 dispatches this week, unfortunately. I'll leave one to the end. It'll be out of sync. The 9th of February, we lost 2 people. We lost a gentleman, Damo Suzuki. He's a Japanese singer and songwriter, but he sang with a krautrock band, Can. Same day, we lost Jimmy Van Eden, American rock drummer, singer, and record producer. The 11th saw the departure of Ladislav Burlas. He was a Slovak composer and musicologist. The 12th, we lost 2 + 1. We lost Tamas Dek, or Dik. He was a Hungarian composer and conductor, and Juris Kulakovs, a Latvian musician with the band Perkons. And the 13th, we lost Eddie Chiba, an American disc jockey. Martin. Yeah, thank you very much, Martin. Ian will see that whenever he comes back. Now, the one that I've left till last, a lot of us Brits will have heard him on the radio, seen him on the TV. Steve Wright. Lovely, lovely Steve Wright, English DJ and radio personality. He was actually made an MBE in the New Year's Honours this year. And he died the other day, age 69. Very unfortunate, very sad passing. Anyway, that's the dispatches. Good evening, Mike. Ian, did you see Martin?
Yes, I did.
Right, good. Okay. Birthdays, the Hatches. We've got 2 honourable mentions. Firstly, on Monday, a certain character turned 50 years old. A lot of us will remember Bagpuss from British TV. There were only 13 episodes ever made, but he is still one of the most iconic characters in kids' TV.
I do an impression of him, Professor Yaffle.
And the mice and their marvelous musical machine.
Yes. No. Yeah. Sorry, I'm distracting you. But yeah.
No, that's all right. Now, she was born Joyce Penelope Wilhelmina Frankenberg. She is 73 today, and I will give you, let's see, it's 10 past. I'll give you 15 minutes for somebody to come up and tell me what name we know her by. Anyway, proper birthdays. 29 today is an F1 sensation. She she gave some of us grief. Megan Thee Stallion is 29 today, American rapper, singer, and songwriter. 36 today is Hironori Kusano. He's a Japanese J-pop singer with the band Muse. 40 today is Gary Clark Jr., American blues, rock, soul singer, songwriter, and guitarist. And Doda, she's Dorota Radczewska, Polish pop and rock singer, songwriter. 43 today is Matt Hoops, American rock guitarist with the band Reliant K, and Olivier Longot, American hip hop and R&B singer with G Unit. 44 today is Connor Oberst, an American singer and songwriter with the band Bright Eyes, and Benedict Sheehan, American composer and choral director of the St. Tikhon Choir, is 44 as well. Our American friends will know of Adam Granowski. He's better known as Adam Granduciel, or Granduciel. He's an American guitarist, singer, songwriter, and record producer. 46 today is Kimberly Goss, American singer and musician with the band Synergy. 47 is Brooks Wackerman, American drummer. He's played with Bad Religion and Avenged Sevenfold. 48 today is Brandon Boyd, an American rock singer with Incubus, and Ronnie Vanucci Jr., an American drummer with The Killers. 54 today is Gloria Trevi, a Mexican singer and songwriter. 56 is Fabienne Demal. She's better known by her stage name of Axel Red. She's a Belgian singer-songwriter. 57 today is Jane Child, a Canadian musician. 64 today is Mikey Craig, English musician and DJ. He was in Culture Club. 65 today is Alistair Ali Campbell, British reggae vocalist and guitarist with UB40. 67 is Jake E. Lee. He's an American rock guitarist. He played with Badlands from 1988 to 93, and he played with Ozzy Osbourne from 1982 to 1989. 69 today is Hugh Padden, British record producer and audio engineer. He produced Phil Collins, The Police, and Spandau Ballet, amongst others.
And the man who changed the sound of Genesis for the worse. Sorry, I have to get that.
I thought that might come. 73 today is Melissa Manchester. She's an American pop singer known for songs Don't Cry Out Loud and Midnight Blue. 75 today is Hans Graf, an Austrian conductor and educator. And 75 also is Billy Nichols, British singer known for a song Would You Believe, and a songwriter. Now, he wrote a song, I Can't Stop Loving You, open brackets, though I try, close brackets, which has been recorded by so many artists. It's unbelievable. The list of covers. It's about 30 covers. Different artists have covered it. Anyway, 77 today is John Adams. He's an American composer. He wrote the opera Nixon in China. 79 today is a British rock saxophonist with Supertramp, the marvelous John Helliwell. 80 today, and this goes back to the 60s, the Kinks, because they had a brilliant drummer, Mick Avery. Also 80 today is Henry Threadgill, an American composer, saxophonist, and flautist. He actually won the 26th In for a Penny, In for a Pound. Glyn Johns is 82 today. He was a British recording engineer and producer. He worked with the Eagles, The Who, and Eric Clapton, amongst others. 83 today is Brian Holland. He's an American pianist, songwriter, and producer. Now, he's part of a songwriting trio, Holland, Dozier, Holland. They wrote things like Heatwave, Where Did Our Love Go, You Keep Me Hanging On. Brian has written or co-written 145 hits in the US and 78 in the UK. That's an amazing track record. And Granddaddy today, 84, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this name. Whether it's Trygive, I'm not sure. It's Trygve. His last name is Madsen. He's a Norwegian pianist and composer, and he wrote The Dream of the Rhinoceros and Aurora. So those are your birthdays. The matches, there's only one match this week. In 1867, the Russian novelist Fyodor Dostoevsky wed Anna Snitkina at the Trinity Cathedral in St. Petersburg. If I remember correctly, our talking point is 1979, isn't it?
Well, I hope so, because I've got all 1979 stuff out.
Oh, good. Okay. I've tried to keep it to one per month, but there are a couple of things that we need to mention, so there's a couple extra. Anyway, January the 16th, a famous BBC TV series started on BBC One. Life on Earth, presented by David Attenborough. That was a seriously good, stunning program. It opened my eyes to the world around us.
Yeah, we was able to what we watched it on TV. I was allowed to stay up late to watch that.
Yeah. For a documentary program, I mean, it covered so much. It was brilliant. Anyway, in February, something weird happened in the Sahara Desert. It snowed. And it snowed overnight, and it lay for a day. March the 28th, very unusual circumstance. We've seen it happen since. There was a partial meltdown at 3 Mile Island, the nuclear plant in the US. Released radioactive gas and iodine into the atmosphere, but nobody died, thankfully. April the 12th. There's a strange film came out. We all wondered, what the hell is this? What the future holds? Because it was Mad Max starring Mel Gibson. May the 4th, and Iain got this straight away. Margaret Thatcher came to power. She was the first woman to be elected Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And then, rather fittingly, May the 25th, the horror film Alien, directed by Ridley Scott with Sigourney Weaver, was released.
Well, John Hurt.
That was brilliant. That was one of the scariest scenes that I had ever seen up until that. That blew my mind.
Jaws too.
Anyway, June 21st, the Glastonbury Festival opened. Can you guess who headlined? It was Tim Blake and Peter Gabriel. Other performers there included Steve Hillage, the Alex Harvey Band, and Sky, one of my all-time favourite bands. July saw the introduction, July the 1st, the Sony Walkman, first portable cassette player. That caused a revolution in listening to music. You could take your music with you. You didn't need to carry something humongously big around with you. August. Oh, Brighton was in the news. That lovely seaside resort with freezing waters. It got its first nudist beach. August the 11th. There was a concert at Nebworth Park. There were 200,000 fans there, and it turned out that it was the last performance by Led Zeppelin in England. August the 15th saw the release of Apocalypse Now. with Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, Martin Sheen. It won the Palme d'Or that year. Now, has Richard been in?
No.
Right. I wonder. I think Richard might probably be the only person on the panel who might have this. September the 1st, U2 released their first record. And it was an EP entitled U2-3. It was available only in Ireland. That's why I wonder if Richard has it. Anyway, October the 16th saw another new TV show. Rowan Atkinson, Chris Langham, Pamela Stevenson, and Mel Smith. They starred in Not the 9 O'Clock News. And my favourite sketch out of that is Gerald.
Oh, I love Gerald. Absolutely classic.
Yes. November the 15th, the fourth man was revealed. Sir Anthony Blunt, art advisor to the Queen, he was exposed as the fourth man in the famous Soviet spy ring of Philby Burgess McLean. Blunt was the fourth man. And for our American friends, November the 25th, Pat Summerall and John Madden broadcast a game for the first time together. And it was a pairing that was to last 22 years. December, we had 2 films released and we had a game was developed. So December the 7th, Star Trek, the first one, the motion picture, was released. December the 15th, Chris Haney and Scott Abbott developed a board game. Trivial Pursuit. How many of us have played that? Can I have a pink one, please? And December the 19th, Kramer versus Kramer, starring Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep, was released. It won the Best Picture Oscar in 1980. So that's your hatches, matches, and dispatches and general gulf. And I've wasted enough time that it's now.
No, it's always informative. As people say, they put this on and they're getting a cup of tea or finish, you know.
Yeah, and Dave's waffling in the background.
Yes.
Yeah. And since it's 22 minutes past, I'm going to do the result for last week.
Already, are you? Okay.
Yes. Might as well. Let's get it over with, because he's not here, or if he is, he's hiding and saying nothing. The result came out in the live stream 17-14. In the community, it came 36-22. Revolver beats Diamond Dogs, unfortunately. A total 53-36. So that's another Beatles album goes through. And Jimmy, I hope you're coming up to say something really good to galvanize the votes, because you're getting a pounding in the community vote at the moment. I haven't looked at the live vote. Anyway, let's add your next week. Okay,
don't you go anywhere at the moment, because you'll see why in a minute.
Right. I mean, I know we've got to do. Well, do you want to do the wheel first?
No, we'll do this first, because I'm ready to go.
Okay. Full screen, off you go.
Okay, what's on next week? Well, everyone sits here going, "Oh, what's he going to put on for us next week?" So we'll better get on with it. So look at that, three on Monday. We've got part 2 of the Michael Schenker story, and we're going to look at the 2 albums that he recorded with Scorpions. Remember, the first one, he was 16 years old. And if you want to know who Michael is in that picture, it's the one with the star on his T-shirt. And the guy to his right, that is Klaus Meine. Believe it or not. That is such a groovy picture. We're continuing with the Rockabilly albums from Lee. And he's chosen for next week a great compilation album by Wanda Jackson. We're going to be rocking with Wanda. And it's a certain friend of mine's birthday on Monday, the one and only legendary Mr. Richard McCook. So we're going to look at the US top 10 on the day he was born in 1966, Tuesday. Right. We're going to do the Prodigy, and it was a reviewer's request. And who asked for it? Yes, Dave asked for this. And why did you tell him why you asked for this?
Because they had a concert in Newcastle. It's out of your comfort zone, but they had a concert in Newcastle, and the old people's home on the other side of Donald Park didn't hear a thing.
Oh. Yeah, so I'm going to go through the Prodigy and had my ears totally, yeah. And guess what? We've got another retro ranking with them bad songs, and I have put in the Hall of Shame this time, Def Leppard. There's one certain album, and it appears in that list, and it's not Hysteria. So I'll get you thinking. Okay, next Wednesday, Marathon Day, is the wonderful Lou Reed. Fine musician, fine writer, fine everything. So that's what we'll be doing. Thursday even. Another Battle Royale. Richard McCook again. He's got Bridge Over Troubled Water going up against David Hunt. He's doing well today. Will he get 2 through? He's got Bat Out of Hell. And then next week's Pick and Mix. We're going way back for the UK charts. We're going way back to the 22nd of February, 1957. Some good records in that chart, I can assure you. Okay, next Friday, got a live album ranking, and we've got a band I love, Curved Air. And if you want to see the one I'm actually pointing at, that is actually Stuart Copeland. Yes. And we've got a new album now. Who's Honeymoon Suite? Well, I have ranked them, and I have seen them a few times. They're a band from Canada, and this is their first album, I think, since 2008. But you may know one of their songs. They did the theme tune to the original Lethal Weapon film. So that's who they are. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's what's happening next week. So let's just get rid of that.
Right. In the meantime, I am doing some adding up.
I've got to find the right. Am I on the right page? Yes, let's get rid of that. And do that. You know, I should be able to do this now. How long have I been doing it on here?
Not sure. Hang on. Maths is trying to do live maths is not.
Right, I'll explain to Dusty what this is. Basically, this is a competition, and it's to find, according to the Obscurans, the greatest album of all time. And it's just like an FA Cup draw here in the UK about different genres. It's just how it works, and it's been really good so far. So that's why it's like that, Dusty. It's not because, you know, it's just the pot when we do a proper draw, and that's how it all comes up. Oh, well done, mate. Yeah, that's why we do it. That's a bit of fun. Anyway, we got to do some wheel spinning now.
Right.
I don't know what I've done with your list. What have I done with my list? I think the first one's for a US one, I think.
It usually is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had it earlier because I was working on it. What did I do with it? Hang on, have I found it? No. It kind of disappeared. Rocky, where did we put the list? Oh well, I'll just have to go on memory. So we'll do
Hang on a second. Let's have a look here. Come on. Come on. Open. No, I don't want that one. There we go. Oh, no, yes, it'll be the US first.
Yes.
For the 7th of March.
7th of March. So if anyone's what we're doing, we're going to spin the wheel to choose the years for the top 10s that we do. So we don't so we can do absolutely anything, which is the challenge.
Yeah, the 7th of March is US, and the 21st will be the UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Just waiting for it to come up.
Yes, it is, Jimmy.
I'm sure you'll do a fine job.
Yeah. Okay. Let's share. Okay. Got it. Let's go a full screen. There we go.
Give it a spin. So there's all the years. So Dave is now going to spin it, and it'll randomly stop.
Make them.
I always dread it if I'll get a 90s.
Oh, you're right.
I'll have a 1976. I'll have that one. I like that. That's for the US, 7th of March, 1976.
Oh, even better.
1962.
Yeah.
There's some good years there. So that's that bit done.
Right. So I can stop doing that.
Right. I'm going to just talk to Jimmy. Are you ready to come up yet? Let's get. Or are you still?
No, panic.
But while Jimmy's doing that, I'm going to show you, as I normally do, I usually show a few movies and a bit of TV trivia from 1979.
Oh, hang on. He says
I'm ready. He's ready. Right, the link's there. So we'll go to Jimmy first. So we'll wait for Jimmy. For people to watch, well, when Jimmy's finished, I'm going to show you some of the films and TV trivia that I've spent the last week looking at.
Yeah. What were you threatening me with?
That about the prodigy.
Oh. Well, you wanted something to take you out of your comfort zone. Oh, yes. Here he is. Good evening, Jimmy. Now, I'm going to...
Yeah, lads, you're up.
Yeah, good.
There we go. And you ready? 3, 2, off you go.
Oh, you've made me big.
Yes. Oh,
yes. Sorry, I'm just fiddling around with this chat. I can see it. I don't need to reply to it. Yeah, well, I wanted to come and give Technique a bit of a push in this round of the Battle Royale. The way things stand now in the because there's 2 different votes. There's like the one on Iain's community tab, and then there's the one in the chat right now, isn't there? And adding both those up at the moment, I mean, it's a bit like Accrington Stanley being 10-0 down to Manchester City at half-time and have a word with the manager and him saying, oh, yeah, we can still do something in this next 45 minutes.
Yeah. Little do they know that Accrington Stanley had a certain George Best sitting on the bench waiting for the second half. That's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, did he ever play for Accrington Stanley, George Best?
No.
I didn't think he did. He did play for a couple of smaller clubs briefly, didn't he? Like Stockport, I think, and Hibernian was another one, weren't it?
Yeah. So come on, give it some.
Right. So for those who haven't voted yet, and those who might be watching on demand, as it were, this was my pick for Ranking the Obscures Battle Royale. Technique. This is the expanded 2-disc edition. Probably ought to put my glasses on actually, so I can read the track listing. I should know it off by heart. But first released in 1989. I can't remember the exact year. You will have heard a lot of information from the previous videos, the previous rounds on Iain's channel, obviously. But this has been my favourite album of all time since I really got into New Order, which was properly around kind of 1993, 94. But I'd heard them, Top of the Pops, Radio 1, etc. Since I was a toddler, I suppose. Me being born in 1980, which was, technically when Joy Division became New Order. So I'm just looking at the chat and seeing Stevie saying, "We can still do something in this heart." Yeah, and I know. I'm hoping. Look, I've got nothing against Nevermind the Bollocks, by the way. It's not an album I own because I've got a Sex Pistols compilation on mini disc called Kiss This, and I believe that's got every track from Nevermind the Bollocks on it. So, do I need a copy of Nevermind the Bollocks after that? Because I like the Sex Pistols, but I'm not a massive fan. So I'm not going to slag off that. As soon as I saw this draw being made, and it was Bollocks versus Technique, I knew it was going to be difficult because Nevermind the Bollocks is beyond iconic, isn't it? It's like when you think of iconic albums in each decade, it's like Sgt. Pepper in the 60s, and then it's Nevermind the Bollocks for a lot of people in the 70s, isn't it? Maybe not everybody, but this is New Order's best album as far as I'm concerned. First track, Fine Time, that was the first single. Came out at the very end of 1988, and I think it got to about number 11 or something. It's an unusual one because there's no what would call proper vocals from Bernard Sumner in it. He does do vocals, but they're sort of like they're like processed through like a vocoder type effect. And I always liked the video. The video was a little bit controversial at the time because it was depicting a young boy in his bedroom tripping on drugs on Christmas Eve. I think it was meant to be because there was a Christmas tree in the corner of his bedroom. Track number 2, one of my favourites on the album. I like Fine Time, by the way, but I don't actually think it's the strongest track on the album or even New Order's strongest single. But track 2, All the Way, that's more of a guitar-y thing, whereas Fine Time was very acid house, very electronic. All the Way goes back to sort of more of a guitar sound, and it's so catchy, it's fantastic. Loveless is track 3. Probably down near the bottom of my order of preference for Technique, really. But that's still not to say it isn't a decent track, because it is. There isn't anything on this album that I don't rate as at least, good to very good. And then my favourites, I think, are, the best songs New Order have ever done. 4th track is Round and Round. That was also the second single off Technique. That got, I think, top 30. I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah, of course I remember the video. The video, and although it's quite some people might find it a bit of a boring video, there was always something that was quite sort of stylish about it to me. It was just sort of black and white headshots of various models, I suppose they'd be classed as supermodels back then. I think a couple of them were quite famous, actually, in if you're into following models. And a brilliant single. Is it my favourite single off the album? Because there's another one. No, I think the one in a minute will be. Then track number 5 is Guilty Partner. There again, like with Loveless, it's good. I would almost say it's very good, but it's never been one of the more memorable or really kind of ones that grabbed me on Technique. But still, fantastic stuff. Now, track number 6 is the third and final single off the album, and I think it is probably my favourite single. It's Run. Now, this was an unusual thing because they released it technically as a 12-inch only, although I think some 7-inch editions came out as promos. I get the feeling it was meant to have a proper full single issue, like CD, cassette, etc. And I know Iain alluded to this when he first talked about Technique in the last round, but New Order got hit by John Denver's, John Denver or his publishing company or whoever associated with Denver to say, excuse me, but with that track run, you've ripped off Leaving on a Jet Plane. Now, maybe my ears are playing tricks, but I think any similarities are so vague. It was unfair, really. If you listen to Oasis Shaker Maker and then you put on the New Seekers that Lads Teach the World to Think, I mean, it's like, well, how come they didn't get into any trouble? But, New Order run sounding supposedly like Leaving on a Jet Plane. They eventually, and there's probably updated credits in this CD, actually, I've not checked, but eventually, for future pressings of the album, they had to credit John Denver as a co-writer. But it doesn't sound an awful lot like it. There's a very vague kind of melodic resemblance, but I think that's what affected the single release. This all came out around the time they were preparing to release a single, and so it only came out as like a limited run of like 15,000 or 20,000 12-inch singles. And then the next track, and there's no numbers on here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Track number 7 is one that was a real grower for me. When I first listened to this album many years ago, I found it a bit sort of, kind of not. I found it a bit above average, a bit like Loveless and Guilty Partner, but it's been a real grower. It's Mr. Disco, and now I would say it's probably about my second or third favorite track on the album. It's a real nice blend of it. It properly blends like Balearic house, Balearic dance music of the time with indie guitar, and it does it so well. And I don't know why it took me so many years to get into that track, but now I think it's really. I wish it had been released as a single, to be honest, because I think it would have done all right in the chart. The penultimate track on the album is Vanishing Point. This is a bit of an interesting one, and I'm not sure which came first. I think it might have been the TV show that came first, but the original instrumental, the original instrumental demo, or whatever it would have been for Vanishing Point, was the theme tune to a BBC series called Making Out, I think it was. Some sort of drama, I think it was. Set in the models round and round were Patty Silver, Veronica Webb, and a very young, some of those names look familiar actually, and thank you for putting those up. Vanishing Point's great. Another one. It's a lot like Round and Round. It's very similar in style and melody. Just a good kind of light, but more of a poppy kind of thing. Whereas Fine Time was sort of, for me anyway, I'm probably in a minority, but Fine Time for me was more sort of leaning towards more sort of hard acid, like proper acid house, really. And the final track on the album is, I think it's still got to be my favourite on the album, and it's still my favourite end track on any album ever. It's Dream Attack. That's another one. It's got some beautiful synth melodies in from Gillian Gilbert, but it's a good guitar track, ultimately. And a bit like All the Way, it's just catchy. This album, it was produced by New Order, self-produced, but I think they were assisted by Michael Johnson, I think it was. I love the cover, but I love all of Peter Saville's work, really. I know it's not going to win. I know it's going out. It's getting a thrashing from Nevermind the Bollocks, but I love this album. If you haven't voted yet, if you've never heard it, then go away and listen to it, but then vote for it before anyway. Do it right now. Out of some sympathy for me, if I'm deserving of any sympathy. But Technique by New Order, best album ever. New Order's best, certainly. And that's about all I can say about it, really. So thank you for giving me that platform, Ian and Dave.
Well done.
Well done. I have got a short on my channel, so go and, before you vote, if you've never heard this, go and listen to it and then make your mind up. This thing about the John Denver thing. Now, when I did that first when I did it the first round. I put the headphones on, right? And do you remember what Morgan and Wise said to Andre Previn? All the notes are there, but not in the right order. I think that approves to that. You can say that to any song, though, can't you?
Yeah. Like I say, I like Leaving on a Jet Plane. It's like John Denver's not someone I would listen to out of choice particularly, but when I first heard about the controversy, sort of, when I was becoming a massive fan of New Order, I decided, I'll listen to that, and it was. I was like, they're really reaching here. It's like, is this just John Denver being overly litigious or something like that? It seemed really unfair, but
it was more his label.
Addition to the New Order law, I suppose, that they were went after by it was meant to be quite a nice guy, weren't he, John Denver? Like very sort of middle of the road and family friendly.
Yeah, no, it was John Denver's label that went after them.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was him himself or I didn't know if someone had written it for him, but I knew it was someone relating to John Denver or his record label.
Yeah, you'd probably find that he didn't know nothing about it. Anyway, thank you for that, Jimmy.
Yes,
you're going to stay around for a little while.
I'll stick around for a bit. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because we are going to talk about a certain DJ. No,
yes.
we can't not mention the great Steve Wright. So once we've got the thing, we're going to have a memories of Steve Wright, because I think it's fittingly that we pay tribute to just a legend. And that word is used too much today. But to me,
it's used fittingly for Steve.
Steve was a legend. Anyway, I'm going to show you some stuff from 1979, movies and all that good stuff. So, Mr. Producer.
Hang on, let me swallow first. All right, sorry. It's not often I get to have a swig of beer. Okay, Here you go.
Right,
off you go.
This week we're going to start off with a bit historical. It's one of them out of the papers again, and it's Zulu Dawn. Now, this is supposed to be this is the prequel to Zulu. Now, I'll write this down because I can never remember this. This was about the Battle of Island One.
This one, Landy.
That's it. That'll do. And this happened in the morning, and Rorke's Drift happened in the afternoon. Loads of people in this, big names, great little film. 1979, of course.
Yeah. Who was the sore thumb?
Burt Lancaster, having an American play a British officer, which was quite funny. But there you go. Of course, it was Bond time, and I know Jimmy's been watching a lot of Bond lately.
I did the whole lot, yeah. Start to finish. I did my marathon, yep.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done. I mean, I did this when I did my ranking the soundtrack, so it's great to watch all these movies together.
I've got a very similar video coming out on tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Oh, I'll be watching that, and I'm sure Dave will.
Yeah. Bear with me a tick, Ian. Evening, Elliot. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Okay.
Back to Ian.
Right. Okay. 1979, they did a remake of a great World War I film, All Quiet on the Western Front. And there's now been 3. This is good. I like that.
It's one of the best movies ever.
Also, we've been talking about Ronnie Barker and Porridge for the last few weeks, and the actual movie came out in 1979.
I like that. That's a good spin-off film.
That they say this is probably the best ever spin-off movie ever made from a BBC comedy.
I couldn't really argue with that. I think that's probably right.
No, it's got the best ending with it when they crunch on the apple. And sadly, that was the last time we saw the great Richard Beckinsale on screen. So sad. Another classic comedy film came out in 1979. He's been a very naughty boy.
What have the Romans ever done for us?
Yes. Brilliant movie.
Yeah.
I just love this. Spike Milligan's got a cameo in it. George Harrison's in it. It's just a fun film. Produced some great songs.
I can remember going to the cinema.
There was Terry Jones. He's a very naughty boy.
Yeah.
And of course, we've got Willis Wyatt. And of course, his big mate, biggest
Dickus.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay,
I remember going to the cinema to watch that, and there was a huge protest outside by religious fanatics, shall we say, ultra Orthodox Christians. Oh, it's blasphemous. I'm sorry. Get real.
Yes.
Anyway, go on.
Yes. Okay, 1979. We saw the last ever episode of 40 Towers, Basil and the Rat.
40 owls, yes. No,
Yes.
watery fowls.
Outstanding.
That's that famous line, Sybil on Mastermind, Sybil faulty, specialised subject, the bloody obvious.
Yeah.
And there was a Premier Network on TV of a Great Wall film.
Oh, bear with me just a moment. Boom.
Oh, God.
Yes. No.
Thank you for that, Michael.
Good morning, Michael. All right, back to Ian's movies.
Yes, and it's one of my favourite. We've mentioned it before. It's Broadsword called in Danny Boy, and I didn't believe it didn't get on the TV till 1979. It's the brilliant Where Eagles Dare. Brilliant book, brilliant film, brilliant cast. That's one of the great films.
They're all coming up. They're all
Yes,
coming up.
go. We've got them all in tonight.
Good evening.
Anyway,
right. Are you done?
I am done for now. Yeah.
Oh, that was convenient.
That was very convenient. So I'm sure everyone that's come in has got some fab albums to show us from 1979. Yes,
right.
Elliot's. I could, when I was doing the thing, I could see Elliot shuffling his record. So we'll let Elliot go first.
We'll take Elliot up first. Okay.
So the stage is all yours. So I'm sure.
All right. Greetings to everybody. Let me wipe that a little bit to get that little embarrassed a little clearer. Greetings to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. 79 was such a great year for music in my book. I was 20, turning 21 in 1979. So the height of my imagined expertise on music, of course, all imagined. But so into music and so into so many sounds. But the movement to roots was strong in 79 in a lot of ways. My favorite album from 1979 would be Keeper of the Flame by Delbert McClinton. And Delbert is one of those artists that is so hard to categorize. I don't know how popular he was in the UK and in Europe, but I know he toured there some, or has through the years. He's just retired in the last year or two from touring. But this album is just, he's able to take old R&B songs, his own compositions, current compositions, and make them his own. It's really, is he an R&B singer? Is he a country singer? Is he a soul singer? Is he a rock artist? Those are the artists to me that are the best, ones you can't categorize very well. But on here, he's got songs like Plain Old Making Love, Just a Little Bit, Shot from the Saddle, I'm Talking About You, and Two More Bottles of Wine, a composition that he wrote, which was taken, not on this particular album, which was taken and became a concert standard for Emmylou Harris. And this album, Blue Kentucky Girl, came out in 1979 as well. And again, she is going back in time to revitalize some of those 1940s country songs and the honky tonk and the duets stuff, things like that. Does a Willie Nelson song like Sisters Coming Home, does some gospel stuff like Beneath Still Waters, and some pop songs like Save the Last Dance for Me, which are R&B pop kind of song. Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, and the title track Blue Kentucky Girl. And on this album, her band was called the Hot Band. And on this album is one Ricky Skaggs, who would later go on to a very successful commercial career himself. But he was in her band and touring band, and he was on that album. And that same year Blue Kentucky Girl came out, he had left her band and released this album, Sweet Temptation, on a brand new record label, Roots record label that had just started the year before. In fact, I'll promote my own video. I have a Sugar Hill Records, a brief overview of that record label is my latest video. But this album on a obscure indie label, Sugar Hill, only been around a year or so, sold 150,000 copies, which is unbelievable numbers for an indie label to do. And to me, they correspond to me because I was sick of the corporate rock, the Journey and the Foreigner and all that sort of stuff. To me, on your side of the pond, the equivalent, I guess you would say, to these artists that were trying to get away from the corporate music and more toward the roots would be guys like Nick Lowe. Labor of Lust came out that year, if I'm not mistaken. And it's got Cruel to Be Kind on here is the biggest one on here. But just overall, what a great artist, producer, everything. And his cohort, Dave Edmunds, and Repeat When Necessary. And this particular album, I mean, you guys know stuff better than me. But Girl Talk, Crawling from the Wreckage. I love Crawling from the Wreckage. Black Lagoon, Queen of Hearts is on here. And Dave Edmunds and Nick Lowe, to me, are the great guys that were kind of like slapping the rock world in the face and saying, wake up, quit worrying about how many dollars you can make and how you can appeal to the huge masses and just make good music that you enjoy and that other people will enjoy. So those are my 5
great
records.
Great stuff, Elliot.
Well done. Who fancies going next?
Things here.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No. Who
Anyway,
fancies going next?
I think Michael, because he was holding up bits of paper and going, rice, baby. And he said, I know he's got something good. He messaged me earlier today, and I think I don't know what he was going to show, but he said he was quite excited, weren't you, Michael?
I was excited. But before I do my presentation, I'd like to make a short plug for something upcoming, and that is this Sunday. Is it backwards? Oh no! So me, Stevie, and Harris Pilton live streaming this Sunday, 11 a.m. UK time on my channel. Please join us. I think it'll be fun. Okay, 1979, and Elliot's right. Big corporate year. Okay, big corporate spending, and I thank Elliot for that ability to mention this record first. I just reshuffled. And that's Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. Okay, this record cost $1.4 million to produce.
Yeah,
Lindsey Buckingham was given carte blanche to produce this record, and it's good. It should have been a single record, and if it had been a single record, probably wouldn't been as big as Rumors. I'm not a big Fleetwood Mac fan. It's a nice record. It's got some interesting passages, some good tracks. But I love the story about the 1.4 million because none of the record executives at Warner received their bonus that year, that corporate year, because he basically sucked all the funds from their budget from doing this record. Next up, corporate rock.
Oh,
The Eagles.
before you go on,
Yes.
have a look just below. Have a look at the message.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And
Yes.
and
Several
intermarital
other-
relationships. Lots of stories behind that record.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway.
This is an interesting record. It is loaded with credits. Okay. And I found something really interesting about this record. Some
Oh, what
and
happened
that
there?
is on the yes.
No,
You just
something-
appeared.
You
Oh.
disappeared. You're back. You're back again.
Shouldn't have happened. I'm on 5G. King of Hollywood. Okay. First guitar solo, Glenn Frey. Second guitar solo, Don Felder. And guitar solo, Joe Walsh, which I just found really interesting because, you know, this record, the way that they do this is this song is written by Don and Glenn, and this one is written by Joe. And you know, it's all, you know, divided up, and you could tell they were probably really in a ton of competition with one another, because I guess they didn't get along as a group all the time. There they are. And there's the first side of the record, The Long Run, I Can't Tell You Why, and In the City are great tracks from 1979. And actually, In the City reminds me of At the Station, which is another Joe Walsh song, which is probably my favorite by him. So, done with American corporate rock, get into some more interesting things. Ben Sidron live in Montreux. And this record, Spittin' Bobby told me about this record and recommended it to me. And he's doing great, friends. He's taking care of his he's a single dad, taking care of his daughter. Bobby's doing great. And I think of him every time I play this record. He's backed by the Brecker brothers. It's jazz, it's vocals, and it's instrumental. And it's interesting, the announcer at Montreux, I think he's a famous announcer because he sounds just like the guy who announced Delaney and Bonnie at Royal Albert Hall, the same voice. So I'm wondering if that MC was a famous guy in Europe. You'd have to tell me. And Stevie says, Michael's, oh, please. Okay.
Sidron was also a member of the Steve Miller Band.
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
Ian Hunter. You're never alone when you're with the schizophrenic. And this was recorded in New York City. Great title. He was recorded in New York City, and he worked with what's his guitarist's name was Mick Ronson. And the great songs on this are Bastard, Just Another Night, Wild East, and Ships. That was also covered by Barry Manilow. Did you know that Ships was covered by Barry Manilow? Anyhow, great record. I recommend it. Now, when Ian and Mick were in New York City, there was another woman who was recording in New York City, and she had a song, and it was called Junkman, Kenya Ravon. And she was hoping that Van Morrison would back her on it, and his tour duties took him away. And she was negotiating with Bruce Springsteen's people. That didn't happen. He was dragging his feet. And Mick Ronson came into the studio and said, Ian Hunter. And it was a magical duet. If you have not heard Junkman, you need to. It is. I don't think Ian Hunter's ever done a duet with a woman. It is butter. Junkman is butter. And I love Genya. She's a great American singer. I put her along with Kathy McDonald and others. It's not the greatest record. It's really, you'd have to really work hard to love every track on this record. But Junkman is the gold, and I recommend it. Next, 1979, Blondie. Okay, E to the B. Not a lot to say about this. I really like the drumming on this record. I forget the guy's name. I mean, he's probably the best rock drummer of that period, and it's a great record. Millie Jackson, A Moment's Pleasure, a kind of a disco-y record. This was recorded at Muscle Shoals. Huh?
Sorry, I can't think of Millie Jackson without thinking of sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, it's a bawdy record. Every song is about marital relations and whatnot. But it's a nice record. One thing I like about this record is it doesn't have any real spacers between the tracks. So as the track is ending, she's talking and she's giving the lead in for the next track, which is really kind of brilliant. What I like about this record is never change lovers in the middle of the night. She's always having a relationship with a married man. That's kind of the theme of her records and her tracks. Great singer, love her, Millie Jackson. And one of yours, Roxy Music, Manifesto.
Yeah.
The best track on this record is Manifesto, and I did a video once of records that are similar because the title track is the first track of the record, and really that's not done very often. But Manifesto, My Little Girl, man, that's a great song, and Dance Away. But My Little Girl and Manifesto are the keepers. Brian Ferry designed this jacket. If you look hard at this jacket, I have a feeling this guy is a real life human and the rest are mannequins. I'm not sure about that. But Manifesto, almost done. Scream, Susie and the Banshees. This one is for you, Mr. Stevie. This was produced by Steve Lillywhite. Best track on this record is Hong Kong Garden, which they got, woke, crap about because it was the stupidest thing, that Hong Kong Garden is racist, dumbest thing in the world. The best track on the record. It's really hard, it's really punk, but that's the sweetest song. And all of these records, most of these records are Japanese pressings. I saved money by getting them without the OB. And last one, 1979, the year I graduated Rhode Island School of Design. My previous classmates, Talking Heads, Fear of Music, great record. This has got that textured cover, grading for the ground to keep your traction. And again, this is a Japanese pressing, and it's different in as much as the lyrics, if you see that, are in Japanese and English, and great sounding record. And I am reaching the end of my presentation on 1979. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present this, and I give it back to the rest of the panel.
Well done. I thank you, young sir.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, Scream. Yeah, well, lovely. Yeah, yeah. The Scream for second week running. It's released in '78, Michael.
What's that?
The Scream was released in '78.
Oh no!
I showed it last week. Well, I'm glad you showed it because it's a brilliant album and it deserves it. Well, I couldn't.
Anyway, good evening, Ramon, all the way from
Canada.
Good evening, everyone. How are you guys?
Good evening.
Okay, well, let Mike go next because I'm sure he's got lots to show.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had so much to show that there's a lot here that I think I ought to show. But Elliot, I was also 21 in 1979. And what you said about Dave Edmunds and Nick Lowe, agree with that totally. But they provided that bridge. I think in the UK, they provided that bridge between rock music and punk in the UK. Via pop rock, I think, Yeah. And then particularly Nick Lowe's, I love the sound of Breaking Glass, which was released in '78. It's
song.
A rock track, it's a punk track, it's brilliant. So you were spot on there, Elliot, I think. Anyway, I'm going to show some singles to start with.
Okay, off you go.
So we'll start off B-52s.
Yeah. Ooh.
Claire.
Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah, lovely, and their version of Downtown as well.
Oh, never heard that.
This is lovely. I think this is my favourite track by them. I just love it. It's that sort of 50s B movie sort of kind of feel to it, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. Right, so get through this quickly. Yeah, Buzzcocks. Have to show the Buzzcocks every week now. Everybody's happy nowadays. And there you go. There's the
Nice.
table.
Nice.
There's a clash. I fought the law, and I heard Nick's final body say that the Clash are nowhere near as good as the Damned, and I agree with you, Nick. But that's still a great single. Here we go. Watching the Detectives. Great. Elvis Costello. That's on Radar Records. David Cameron's favourite song, allegedly. The Jam, Eton Rifles. The guy clearly didn't really understand the sentiments behind this song. But there you go. Right, always have to get a Leeds band in, don't I? So this is the Mighty Mekons, Work All Week, and an Unknown Rex. While they were still a punk band. I mean, they're now a country sort of folk band.
I was going to say, have they gone all countrified in yeehaw? No offense.
Yeah, but they went that way. They went that way probably in the late 80s. But yeah, because they released an album with an American an Americana band called Freakwater. They called themselves the Freakons, and they did lots of lots of sort of folk tunes from the UK and from the US around coal mine, I think, and that was released a couple of years ago. The Members, Sound of the Suburbs.
Brilliant song.
Yeah. There's a regional sort of railway, suburban railway announcement halfway through this song. Does anyone know what railway station it's from?
No.
Do you know, Ian?
No, I don't.
Being a railway man? It's from Staines.
Staines. The Staines. Yeah, I know that station.
Yeah. Penetration. Lovely Pauline Murray. There you go. Coming into the open. Not one of their best known tracks, but released in '79. You'll all know this one. Public Image Limited. Death Disco. And of course with the usual Hill logo. I think this was this Richard McCook's favourite Susie and the Banshees? Love in a Void?
Yes.
Yeah, they are, and it's got Mitta Geisen on the other side. So Mitta Geisen's on the Scream, which apparently was released in 1978, and Love in a Void was a non-album single. A bit of a cult classic here. Spiz Energy. Where's Captain Kirk?
Great cover.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's an absolutely brilliant cover. Yeah. And the final single, Making Plans for Nigel.
I love it.
XTC. Wow.
Yeah, I love it as well. I love XTC, yeah, but particularly their early stuff, their early singles, I think were really, really good. And then a few, just a couple of albums, all in the same vein, really. Adam and the Ants.
Well, that is rare. That's the only one I haven't got, and I've been looking for it for years.
Yeah. Well, this is a proper punk or post-punk album, and Adam found fame as a pop star, as a dandy highwayman, and I love him in both guises, quite honestly.
Never
I love the cheesiness of things like Prince Charming. But this is a great album, and you've got Car Trouble Parts 1 and 2 on this, and then the brilliantly titled Never Trust a Man with Egg on His Face. But it's a great album. Great album. Band that's better than the Clash. There you go. The Damned. Machine Gun Etiquette.
Oh, I love that track. As I said on my punk thing, it's just in your face.
Yeah. This is a brilliant album, but I don't think. I mean, particularly the first half dozen albums, Damned didn't release anything that was bad. Because Nick's not here tonight, I thought I better show this. Do it yourself. The Endure in the Block. Yeah. So we got In Betweeners on here, and oh yeah, Lullaby for Francis is a really good one. But it's it's not punk at all. It's very very considered sort of post-punk pop music. Lovely. And of course, Joy Division on Unknown Pleasures. Got to get that one in one of the absolute sort of classic albums of all time.
Oh yeah.
An album that you like, Iain? SLF?
Oh yeah.
Flammable Material. Absolutely brilliant album. And I mean, I think more than anything, these guys sort of, tell you what it was like to live in Northern Ireland in the 70s during the Troubles. Very, they're very political and not political at the same time. The sort of, these guys were not sectarian at all. They were just sick of the whole thing.
Yeah. It's all about music for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they're absolutely brilliant. And then another Northern Irish band, and this is the original cover.
Oh,
The Undertones.
Fergal.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of singles on here. We got Jimmy Jim is on here, and what else is on here? Here Comes Summer. That was a single, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
And I think there's another single on here, and I can't think what it was. Anyway, you'll have to look it up.
To me, I mean, I know it's not a greatest hits album, but for me, it is in my eyes because there's so many.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Did you like that, Nick? Yeah. Anyway, cheers.
Mike, is the I Fought the Law from the Clash, is that a remake of the song from a decade before, or is that their own composition?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's their cover version. Yeah.
It's a cover. Okay.
I'm not sure who it was by initially, but it's such a famous song, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's done in the 50s.
Yeah.
And then Bobby Fuller had the big hit with it.
Yeah, Bobby Fuller was the one. I
did mention it on my punk thing about
Bobby Fuller 4. Yeah.
Once again, Mike, some great stuff. Just like you were showing singles from your record thing earlier. Some great stuff there. Mike always showed some great singles from this era because it's.
Well, that's right. I mean, when I showed those records on that video I posted earlier on, that's why you've really got to come to Leeds. You can pick up some great stuff as well.
Yeah. Anyway,
question: is Jimmy going? Jimmy, are you showing stuff tonight?
No, I was so concerned with remembering to get my copy of Technique. I didn't even give the 79 albums. I thought, to be honest, I would have certainly shown what I think is my favourite album from that year, but Mike showed it, Unknown Pleasures by Joy Division.
I thought you'd like that, Jimmy.
Yeah. And my favourite of the two Joy Division albums. I know some people are close to and that difficult to listen to for many years. And another album that I've got, albeit it's a modern reissue, it's on picture disc, but it was mentioned earlier. Well, the film was mentioned earlier, but want to give a special honorary mention to the soundtrack of Monty Python's Life of Brian. It is, as someone in the chat mentioned about the soundtrack to it earlier on. So that's another one of my kind of favourites from 79. Mike did my work for me there with Unknown Pleasures, really. But no, I've not got anything to show physically. So
Stephen's right. It was Cricket Sonny Curtis. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Stephen. So let's go over to Canada for some 1979.
Bonjour. Bonjour,
folks, by the way.
So,
Hello,
bonjour. So, when I was yesterday in front of my shelf, I realized 1979 was
Make him Grand.
Was it Grand? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I realized that it was like a transition year for a lot of bands. They gradually step away from pure prog to more pop or radio friendly. And I will start off with 3 bands. First of all, Styx. This is Cornerstone, and this is a good example. It's a transition from progressive music to more pop. I think Boat on the River is on that one. Styx, a band a lot of people like to hate or like to make fun of in the American culture. Don't know why. I think I already asked the question. Were they popular in the UK? Styx?
Yeah, so last week they're very, very popular, but they got a bit. They were babe.
Yeah. Another
Not
album.
that available.
Yeah. Other album. I found the article on the Rolling Stones, and it said that the band it's a distinct transition from prog to more accessible radio-friendly stuff. And this is Rush. This is Permanent Waves. I think they began recording this album in a farm. Neil Peart was trying to work on the lyrics, and Neil Peart and Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee was working on the music parts. And it's a very good album, different from Hemispheres or Far of the Kings. And this is a Canadian press, and this is a Blue Anthem label. So it got the spirit of the radio and free will, just to name a few. And Machiavel was no slouch. They released this album right after Jester and Mechanical Moonbeams, as I showed last week, and it got some reggae elements, some funk elements. So way different from the second and the third prog album they had dropped. But it's still a good one. And it's funny because they're from the French-speaking part of the Belgium, and they had a British coach who was trying to help about the pronunciation, and you can really feel on certain words he's trying to mimic to do the British accent. Bob Marley, it is also a survival.
Oh yes,
we are talking about Bob Marley right now because of that movie. And this is survival. This one I found in Bristol when I was in the UK. Really decent condition. So Bob Marley. A record my father bought back in the day. This is a Motorhead. This is a Bomber. This is the only Motorhead I have.
Huh.
And so I think you guys have nice memories.
That's a great album.
It is, yeah. Next, an album I often compare to The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, since it's a double album, it's a concept album, it's an album where you had the leader working on the storytelling, directing. I'm talking about The Wall, of course, 1979.
Yes.
And I think they released the last.
Knew somebody would mention it tonight.
Yeah, I had. It's not my favorite album. It has grown on me. It took some years to grow. But I think Nick were mentioning in one of this video, the single came just for Christmas 79 was the last number one hit on the UK in the 70s. So The Wall. A band I discovered because of one member, thanks to one member of the VC, Mr. Rob Walker. Yeah, Setting Suns. I recently got a copy of that one. Really liked it. It has this great cover version of Heatwave, originally performed by The Who on the
Martin and the Vandellas.
The Who on which album? A quick one, yeah. Heatwave, and so this is a UK press. This is Setting Sun. Really like the design of the label. Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Great label, isn't it?
An album you could hear everywhere in 79. I wasn't born. My father told me Breakfast in America.
And
yeah,
Give
and
us
I was
breakfast.
I was listening to that album this weekend with a friend of mine, and it's funny because I think they still had their prog way to compose or to perform songs. You can hear at the end of I think the Logical song, you have this guitar riff which fading out, which is not normal. You would like the song to going on, and but it has to be, I think, radio friendly, and this was a massive success. Supertramp. My favorite album by AC/DC, Highway to Hell. Last one with Bon Scott. He passed away I think in London a couple of months after the release of that one. I know every nook and cranny of that one. This is incredible. I think it's a German or French press. Oh, it's a French press I got. Yeah, so AC/DC. Another classic, Angel Station, Manfred Mann. You all remember "Don't Kill It, Carol," that song that was played on often on radio station. Something for Richard McCook. I have to please everyone on this channel. This is ABBA.
Aha!
And I always have struggled to pronounce the name of that album.
Yeah, it must be very hard for you.
Yeah, it's a foreign language. It's a voulez-vous.
It's influenced by Alan Partridge.
Yeah. And the next one is a good transition. So this is ABBA. Who can tell which is a transition between the ABBA and this is the last Led Zeppelin album, by the way.
Yes.
Who can tell me yeah. They recorded they recorded this I heard it, I think, like yesterday. I was trying to check, and they record this album in Sweden, in Stockholm. They had this studio. I didn't know about that. So this is the 8th studio album from Led Zeppelin. It's Through the Doors, and really interesting. The bass is much more predominant, I would say, and yeah. Last one they made prior, John Bonham's sadly passed away, and I still got this craft envelope. And yeah, I have 2 more records. Yeah, I also brought Tusk, and Michael already said some interesting things about that album. I think they wanted to push the boundaries. They had so much success with Rumors. I think they just wanted to explore, to do some experimentation in the studio. This is my feeling. It's not a bad one. I would prefer the Peter Green era, which is years before, but it's still it's an interesting.
It's not
album.
bad, but it's awful.
No,
Even a made a better single album, I think.
And last but not least, this is one of this album I grew up with. Doesn't get a lot of attention on the VC, Barclay James Harvest. They were really successful. Really successful. I think my father had a chance to see them in concert. I think 5 times in France. So they were really successful. Late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, I've seen them. They're great.
Yeah. So this is Eyes of the Universe.
Good one.
This is it. Thank you.
Once again, Ramon, some great songs and albums there.
Iain, great job. I enjoyed seeing it. Iain, I'm sorry, I'm getting paged, I guess is what you would call it.
Yes, okay. Thank you for showing your records.
I enjoyed stopping by and sharing some records and watching you guys. And when I can get a chance, I'll come back and watch the rest of the show offline. Y'all take care.
Okay, bye, guys.
Yeah, cheers. Bye.
Okay.
Have you got anything to show, Steve?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hang on. I'm going to do that. There we go.
I can't bore you like Michael's. Well, can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
No.
You can. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Just could I before I start, could I just say that this two albums. Well done to Jimmy for doing his bit. For Nobody Turned Up for Nevermind the Bollocks, and for good reason, because it's not a very good album. And I haven't got a copy. I had an awful copy of what was it, the Great Rock and Roll Swindle. Terrible pressing, very flimsy. It was a complete rip-off of a record. But you know, never mind the bollocks. It would just end up on things like this. The bi-yearly, every 2 years, you can get a compilation. And I got that, even though it says £30.99, I got that for free. So you've got everything, never mind the bollocks and the Great Rock and Roll Swindle on that. That's what ends up to a not remarkable LP. This could never be done. This isn't even their best LP in my record. It's Power Crusher and the Lies, but this eclipses that. The innovation on here. You know, all the tracks. Yes, the tracks were named by committee, sort of thing, but it's just a wonderful record. Vote technique, if you have any taste at all. And if you want to go even further, there's a great bit on here where Hooky is unfortunately he's having problems with his addiction. He's walking through the park. He hears a record and goes, "Hey mate, what's that?" And he says, "Oh, Hooky, it's yours. It's technique." So that's quite good. Anyway, so I won't take too long. Right, the year is 1979. I'm 14 years old. We'd never heard of people like Todd Rundgren. Thank God, you know, it's exciting. Everything's kicking off. So you're young, you're vibrant. Todd Rundgren is never even mentioned in my entire teenage years. Thank God. So my friend had this I bought for £10. It's worth about £40. So I'd go around to my friends, listen to punk. He preferred the Damned to the Clash, I have to say. But we had all sorts of mixture. There's a mixture of music in 1979. So we've got ELO Discovery. Nobody's mentioned that. I thought I'd chuck in a 12-inch because I don't think anybody's got that either. So you know, there was lots sort of carrying on from the 70s, and there was like sparks of a change as we go into the 80s. So this has already been mentioned, so I won't say anything about it. This is perfect condition, and it was £6. Perfect. The cover's perfect. But from my hometown in Hereford, we have. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned this. This is absolutely unforgivable. Stop Your Sobbing. And it has the track, one of my favorite tracks as a kid. Absolutely superb song. A wonderful lineup of a group. You know, just absolutely wonderful. And Romy, I don't know if this is a French press, but that is made in Great Britain. I think Romy commented. And this one, I think that's either French or Spanish. And you'll notice the picture is actually a bit blurred, I've noticed tonight. So I've got a sharp picture and the blurred picture. Anyway, was this 1979? I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nobody's mentioned it. Talking of rock operas, I think my second favorite film rock opera is Tommy.
If it gets Walking on the Moon, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
79. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm giggling at Marius.
What's he saying? Right. Could I just correct Michael?
No.
I'll just show you this, Michael, because the year was 1979. Okay?
Yeah. I was thinking of showing that, Stevie. You've got to educate these yanks.
Yeah, these youngsters, these Americans, they don't know anything. Okay, What was the best album of 1979? Just to rub it in, this is a first pressing embossed cover. The most expensive dead wax. What's the name? Guess how much it cost me? Yeah. So was it the best record? Well, no, because do you know what the best soundtrack was in 1979? Any films coming out in 1979?
Oh God, don't! Oh, that was this film about people on mopeds.
No, wrong. 1979. The Kids Are All Right. I think that was 1979. I think I'd be very embarrassed if it wasn't, but that's the best soundtrack from 1979. No, the best record by a country mile. It's 14. I saw this group 4 times, twice in 79, once in 80, once in 81. When one of the tracks kicked off, everybody knew the lyrics. Everybody. In fact, the whole crowd left the floor singing along. It was this record. This was the best record from 1979, Setting Suns. And you'll even see another photo on my vinyl tag thumbnail. But that's my best record, 1971. I've got a few singles. Did somebody mention Walkmans earlier on in the intro?
Today, the first Walkman.
Yeah, July the 1st, the Walkman was introduced.
Right, this isn't the first, but it is
It's a
my
Walkman.
my sports Walkman. Yeah. So I'll finish off with a few singles. Let's see if you can see who I've chosen these for. So I've got Don't Like Mondays, Boomtown Rats.
A lot of us like that.
I Only Want to Be With You, The Tourists.
Oh, fantastic.
Somebody came up earlier. Do you know who it was?
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. I think Nick might like this one. Tubeway Army.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Now that I understand is not. I've never seen that, so that's an EP that you don't see along. I know Nick. I know Nick showed that our friend Tubeway Army, our friends Electric, in that picture cover. But we've still got things going on with ELO. Lost Train to London.
Oh, Last Train, yeah.
We've still got Roxy. Dance Away. I think this. I don't know who this group were. I think they were sort of a new, sort of the early sort of electro techno synth band. Do you know who they are?
Never heard of them.
I don't know why.
A Rush Ballard song, not one of Rush Ballard's finest.
Yeah, and there you go. 50p. Can't get better than that.
In your pocket.
I think where this one was shown earlier. My Funny Valentine. Follow up that with Oliver's Army. Mike, you didn't show this one. I think this is 1979. Or did you show it?
I didn't, because I showed Love in a Void instead.
Yeah.
But yes,
Okay.
it's 79, yeah.
Staircase Mystery.
Yeah, great single.
The Masters of 7980. Strange Town. And Butterfly Collector on the back. One for Michael here. I think you showed this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Great song.
Another one Michael would love to have, but he's not getting it.
Oh.
Dexy, yes.
Dance. Oh, that's a great song, that is.
Yeah. And I was just as a fun fact, I was the first person in my school to wear a donkey jacket before anybody had got a donkey jacket from Oxfam, before anybody had heard of Dexys. So there you are. This one for you, Nick. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, message to you, Rudy.
Message to you. And I think this was the first one. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's like that.
Selector and Gangster.
Gangsters.
On the other side, Specials, aka. All right, that's me done. Make me small. Thank you very much.
Okay, and doing that, we bring in. Good evening, Simon.
Hi, Simon.
How you doing?
Hello,
Simon.
You right?
I'm very well. Glad you are. Right, I think I'm going to show some records.
You're out flagged, Simon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So can Mr. Producer make me big?
There you go.
Right, I'm going to start off on what everyone's shown. An original copy of The Wall, of course. This is, it was brought for me for Christmas.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Everyone, a lot of people showing this. This is not mine. This is my mate Lee has lent me all these Blondie albums. I wonder why. But this is genuinely brought. Well, his mum brought it for him. But he said every time he got home from school, it was on the turntable, and it's also got Remember the old official fan
crikey.
club stuff? So that is generally brought in the day. Bit of Thin Lizzy for us. One of my favourite Thin Lizzy albums. One of my favourite Thin Lizzy covers. Black Rose. It's when Gary Moore was in the band. So we've got Waiting for an Alibi on here, and the brilliant Black Rose itself. Bit of S&M. One of the best live albums ever.
Bit of S&M. Keep that to yourself, Ian.
One of the best live albums ever. The best live album by Queen. Live Killers. Absolutely banging album. Of course, we've got a bit of Rainbow. But
That's
this is not a British pressing. This is a Portuguese.
Oh, nice one.
Stereo.
Was that free with a kebab, wasn't it?
I got that. What's up? You cheeky monkey. As we've mentioned Nick Lowe tonight, and some great records, but we've got this wonderful album from Dave Edmunds, Peak When Necessary. Some great tracks on here. One of my favourites, that's on the Swan label. One of my favourites on here. We've got things like Goodbye, Mr. Good Guy. Queen of Hearts is on here. Bad is Bad. Crawling from the Wreckage, Dynamite. Just all brilliant songs. I had that on cassette and I brought that not so long ago, and I'm so glad I've got it again. Mike Oldfield had 2 albums out in 1979. He released a platinum. Brilliant. I love that album. And we've got the one and only official live album for Mike Oldfield. And that is Exposed. The shortened version of Incantations and the whole of Tubular Bells. Absolutely brilliant live album.
They could have blown that negative up on the back, couldn't they?
Yeah, that's what you got on the back. And this is the quadrophonic version I've got.
Yeah. The phony quad.
Yes. Going on from that, now I picked this up, of all places, in Germany. When I was in Germany. Guilty Live.
Oh.
Yes. It is German pressing. I've just got a couple of singles to show you. Already seen this one though. Picture version of Tube Army's Our Friends Electric with We Are So Fragile on the B side. And who remembers B.A. Robinson?
Yeah.
Oh, God, bang,
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 bang.
bang.
I love that song. No picture disc, I'm afraid, because it's just in its plain old black, boring sleeve. So that's all I've got to show.
Very good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
Who do we have left? We have
Only
young
got
Simon.
Simon. I'm sure Simon's got some great stuff because he always does.
I've got a load of records. These are all records, no CDs today. Start off with the Rocky 2 soundtrack. Of course, we know about the sad passing of Carl Weathers, who will be featured in the movie. Status Quo, whatever you want. Of course. Rainbow, Down to Earth.
It's not in their stereo, though, is it?
Rupert Holmes, Partner in Crime.
Oh, great album. Great album, Simon.
Of course, an original, The Madness, One Step Beyond here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick will be happy about that.
In near mint condition. Supertramp.
That's a fantastic album cover, isn't it?
Classic album, that is. I got a copy of Pink Floyd's Brick in the Wall. I paid £1 for this.
No.
The reason I got it so cheap is because it's got some writing on there. As you can see, somebody wrote on there. So it's just kind of like, stuck in a record bin. But I mean, £1, I mean, can't really argue, can you? I mean, 12-inch single, The Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. I think it was probably a later pressing, I'm assuming, but still, got to throw it in there. Wings, Back to the Egg.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Replicas, Two Babe Army. Just
The
great.
album, great album.
Great album. Pat Benatar number here, In the Heat of the Night.
Oh, nice one.
Guilty pleasure, this one, Captain and Tennille, Make Your Move.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
Blimey, there's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
That's your thumbnail. It's a thumbnail right there.
Yeah. Blondie, Eat to the Beat, of course. That's been shown, isn't it? Kelly Marie, Do You Like It Like That?
Ooh.
With a raunchy cover.
Yeah, no, that really is a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's in mid.
Why not?
I couldn't resist it.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Finally, the Cars, Candy.
Candy,
nobody's shown that.
Oh, yeah.
Another striking cover. So yeah, that's it. That's all of them.
Yeah. Well done.
That has been brilliant. We've had some brilliant albums from 1979. But
It's so different, isn't it? I mean, all genres were represented here.
Yeah.
Actually, before we go any further, I've got some really exciting news for Stevie. Really exciting. Now, hang on to your hat and all that, and don't get too excited.
What next week is the 80s?
Earlier on today, I received an email to say that the Record Store Day titles have just dropped, and there's something there that is really going to make you sort of queue up outside your local record shop in the early hours of the morning.
Right.
It's a double album on coloured vinyl, and here it is.
Oh my god!
Yes.
I mean, aren't you excited, mate? Aren't you excited?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
what can I say? I mean, you showing that, it's just. I think my balls have started to ache.
Yeah, it's made your day. It's made your day, hasn't it?
Thank you very much.
too could be the proud owner of
so well.
album.
We were doing so well.
Yeah. Anyway, folks, this week's been quite a sad week here in the UK as we lost one of our. As I said earlier, it was with Jimmy. The word legend is just loosely used these days, but we did lose a legend this week, the brilliant Steve Wright. Any of the panel got any? NBA, yeah, he got awarded it for his services. Panel, especially the UK, any memories of Steve Wright for you? Anything you want to say about Steve Wright? Oh, Mike doesn't.
Not really. I mean, to be honest, I mean, the guy was an absolute legend in sort of broadcasting terms, and there's no doubt that he changed British radio. But daytime Radio 1, Radio 2 wasn't my thing really, and so I never really listened to him. Although saying that, he was one of these people that Steve Wright in the afternoon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was on in the background, and I think more than anything else, he's someone that everybody knows him. Everyone knows his face. Everyone knows his name. And and quite unusually for DJs of that sort of era, the guy hasn't disgraced himself, has he?
Nope.
No, he was an absolute legend. Now he brought over what they call, was it the Zoo radio, which you
Zoo format.
The Zoo format.
Yeah, that's it. They had the weird and wonderful guests, Mr. Angry and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he used to apparently. This is what Paul Gambaccini said. He'd finish his show on a Friday, go to Heathrow, get on a plane to the States, and just listen to radio over there to get ideas. He was a big fan of Howard Stern. I mean, well, you know, the characters that Fred used to do. And I mean, he had, what was the name? Come on, Michael. What's the name of Howard Stern's
his sidekick? Oh, shit.
The girl. What was her name?
Yeah.
It's gone, hasn't it? Dave, go and look her up. Because,
that's what I'm
of course,
doing.
Steve brought in Jamie Lee Grace as his female sidekick. Robin, that's it. Thank you.
Robin
Givens. Robin
Yeah.
Givens.
and Baba Booey. Right?
Yeah.
That's for you, Marius. Baba Booey.
Baba Booey. Yes, I'm mentally well, thank you, Lisa. Insane, but mentally well. So yeah, I mean, I've got memories of it because I was in hospital in the early 80s and I spent a lot of time in hospital in 1981. And in the children's ward, we used to have Radio 1 on, and we insisted, even if it was school time, we had the radio on in the background because it was Steve Wright in the afternoon. And had to be. How about you, Simon? Because by the time you would have listened to him, he would have been on Radio 2, wouldn't he?
Possibly.
Yeah, so.
Yes, definitely, because it shifted in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, did he have any break at all? Because there was that big shake-up, wasn't there, in Radio 1? When they decided that all of the DJs were about twice the age of the audience.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of them were quite rightly about to grasp. But he went over to Radio 2 and he was doing his own show. But was there any break or did he go sort of straight over?
No, I think there was
he went straight. I think he went
a little break, I think. But yeah, he literally went straight over. He tried. He went on the breakfast show, on the Radio 1 breakfast show, but he didn't have the success he had in the afternoon. So I think he had a bit of a fallout with the controller, and then he went over to Radio 2, and he was given carte blanche until they said, "Oh, you're too old, Steve. Off you go," which was a bit bad. But there we go. But we have lost a legend.
Yeah. I mean, I think possibly he did more to change Radio 2 than sort of like anything he did on Radio 1, because you know Radio 2 was a bit of a dead zone, wasn't it?
Yes.
And sort of, you know, he put a bit of vitality into it. You know, and that's that was a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're all playing Mantravani still when he went over there, weren't they?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Do you remember? Do you remember Sing Something Simple?
Yeah.
My parents used to love it. Absolutely dreadful program. Some choir sort of singing.
Yeah. My memories of that now is. Do you remember the Dead Ringers radio show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to do stints with them, like them robbing a bank, and then they went on. They did their not Crime Watch UK, and they had this wonderful stint of this group went into a bank and sang themselves, "Will you hand us the money?" So yeah, sing something simple was just. Was just dire, wasn't it? So,
yeah. You know, it was complete. You know, I mean, the station was completely moribund, wasn't it? And they went over. Do you remember Harry Enfield and Paul Whitehouse, Smashing and Nicely?
Yeah.
Because that's that sort of era, isn't it? When they were, couple of DJs that were too old for Radio 1, and they
went to Radio
they've been
Quiet.
booted out to Radio Quiet.
Weren't they in the early 90s?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just when I hear you ain't seen nothing yet now, all I think of
is that the lever.
Backman Turner Overdrive.
Yeah. Do a lot for charity. I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And what was it? Not nice. He was Pipe Smoker of the Year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, they were based on, I'd say, Alan Freeman and David Hamilton, weren't they?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they were funny. I mean, I love that they did that thing when they got allegedly sacked from Radio 1, and because that was all at the time that they had that change, so they did their little parody of it. Absolutely,
that's right.
5 minutes. Get your votes in.
Oh. Yes, Jimmy.
Yeah,
It's too far behind. It's an absolute thrash.
Time for an equaliser.
Yeah. Well, you know, quite honestly, Jimmy, after PJ Harvey got knocked out in the first round, I don't think any of you deserve to go any further. There's no sound great, of course, you know.
Yeah, you'll find out how I would have voted when we do our review at the end of the round.
Yeah.
Shots. And we've got a special guest doing the draw for the quarterfinals, you know.
Ooh.
No expense on this stream. We've got the legend that's Richard McCook to do the draw.
Yeah.
And then for the semi-final, you can't believe how much money we spend getting these guests to do the draws. Because the semi-finals is done by all the way from Leeds. Mike, he's in charge of the semi-finals.
Yeah, well, you know, the ink's not dry on the contract yet, Ian. So
no, we'll negotiate that on 9th of March.
Is the draw going to be done in the style of the FA Cup here?
Sending his rider through.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, you should see my rider. Yeah,
curry and chips.
Yeah, and plenty of cider. Yeah.
Take all the green smarties out of the packet.
Try and make it, you know, exclusive and fun, and get these super guests to do the draw.
Yeah.
Not suitable for mums voted. Now, Jimmy would like to know who you voted for.
I told him earlier to vote for Technique, so he better have done as he's told. That's my live stream co-host, Jason, by the way, for those who don't know him. He's that's my fortnightly. Well, it's been more than a fortnight.
Is that the big head behind you?
I want to plug that. I know it's not got all the drama in it that all the good live streams have, but we do talk about music, and we always try and stick to the same topics. So,
yeah, it's great that we've got.
Well, we are live this Sunday, and because the Record Store Day releases were announced today, I've decided to change the plans, and we're just going to go through all those and say which one.
All of them. God, that's going to be a long stream.
I've got a question.
Yeah, I know. I've said I want to mention all of them, but in something like, did I read 450 release? That can't be right, can it? 450.
I don't know. I think it might be. I've not counted them.
So yeah, maybe I might have to rethink that. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be on Sunday at 8:00 UK time, obviously. But thanks for the opportunity just to mention.
Yeah, if I'm about Sunday, I'll come and say hello, because we have to, as British streamers, we have to support each other and get the word out there.
Jimmy, is that what's that big head behind you? What's that?
That's actually Jason. So he's always with me. So
right.
Oh, okay.
Jason, you're famous.
Yes.
You're famous on the stream now.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Stevie. I did like to, you know, just in case it was a little bit.
I thought maybe you stole it.
I know it isn't my granddad. He just looked old enough to be my granddad.
Anyway, no one's guessed the lyrics this week. I think I might have beaten you all for once.
It's Joe Jackson, isn't it?
Oh, freaking hell!
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure someone on the in the gallery mentioned it a long time ago. I think you probably missed it.
I was too busy
Yeah,
doing other things. Yeah, it's Joe Jackson.
yeah.
Okay,
I know who the actress is as well.
Mhm.
I think.
Yeah.
Is that
It's
Jane
a red
Seymour?
one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charles got it earlier.
All right. Yeah.
Right, there's one. I might beat you on this one because I actually beat Dave on this.
Oh yes.
The holiday picture.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Bring it up. Where is it?
Is this a Billing Aquadome?
No, it's not Billing Aquadome.
Nope.
Hungary.
Nope.
Disneyland.
Close, but not correct.
France.
No.
Ah.
Stevie's in the right area if he specifies which Disneyland.
Before you said
You're in
that,
the-
Disneyland
you're in the
I
Paris.
didn't realise he was there, mate.
He's in the right area, but it's not Paris. So if it's not Paris,
America.
yeah.
Orlando.
So we're
Orlando, yeah.
It's somewhere in Orlando.
Well, Disneyland in Orlando.
Nope.
Someone Google it.
Yeah, what's that one? Who gives a shit?
If we told you it's a film set,
Universal.
Is it
Yes.
the Harry Potter?
Universal, yeah.
Oh,
So
Universal.
All right.
Simon
Universal
got it.
Studios.
in Orlando.
Yeah, it's
Get in.
Harry Potter, and it was also used for Beauty and the Beast,
Oh.
live action one.
So yeah, there we go.
Bonk. Take that off.
All right. Hey. Hello,
Sorry,
Nick.
Nick. I didn't realise you was in. The...
Nick.
Nick.
I was
Blimey.
shouting at the screen and waving and flapping my arms.
Well, that'll
I
work.
do apologise. So, have you got anything to show us? Was it your?
It's funny you should ask.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, there's not enough time.
Oh, damn.
There's always time for Nick.
There's always time. There's always time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oi.
Oh.
Great cover.
Tell us about it.
Two-way army. What more do you want to know?
Any other details?
Embellish.
The same thing.
Replicas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Giving us the silent treatment.
Two-way army.
Yes.
Kept him waiting too long.
The principal pleasure. Oh,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Free from 79. I wouldn't have thought that, but I've got some 7-inch singles. We like to keep Mike happy. The 7-inch singles.
Yeah. Come on. Oh
good.
yeah.
Show that. Right.
This is the actual very first record I ever purchased.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I got this from W.H. Smith's in the Newbury Centre in Kettering back in '79.
I know that. God, blimey.
Yeah, I had to queue up with my mum, so I used to go up to town with her on a Saturday and help her with the shopping. And while we're in the queue, she was desperately trying to persuade me to buy a record by Blondie, but I insisted I had this instead.
Well, rightly so. Although
Yeah.
both great, but Miami gets the nod.
Down in the Park.
Oh, I love that song.
Brilliant, isn't it? Fantastic track off the Replicas album.
Yeah.
Here's a tune you might know.
Here,
Spot the difference.
What are you going to show us?
Oh, Is this your Quadrophenia moment, Nick?
Yes.
This one's
Yeah,
from
you have to hold them up
Portugal.
at the same
This
time.
one's from Spain. This one's from the US. This one's from France.
These are all British at the minute.
Have you got the one with the steering wheel?
Oh,
I'm
priceless.
sensing an obsession.
And I'm not just putting them down and picking them up again.
You've got to prove that.
Yeah, we got to see them all at the same time.
Can you say redundant?
But can he
So why
juggle
so many
them?
copies?
Can he keep them in the air at the same time?
I can't help myself. Whenever I see one, I've got to get it.
Wow.
I've got to give it a home.
I think I might be missing that one.
It's going to be a long night.
Yeah.
It's gonna
That's
be
Portuguese.
You're just showing the same one 3 times.
No, that's Portuguese.
Okay.
All we need now is Harris Pilton to come on for car insurance advert.
That's American. Cars.
Thank God, a different cover.
Slightly different. Is anyone else losing the will to live?
Yes.
That's American. Cars.
I'll take your word for it.
Have you got
You
the
like the song,
Portuguese?
do you, Nick?
Sorry?
You like the song, do you?
It's if you pardon my French, it's a fucking brilliant song. One of the greatest #1 hit singles this country's ever produced.
Fantastic tune.
It is good.
Although this isn't 79. This is a revamped issue of Cars, Carlin Premier Mix, which is a fantastic version.
You're solely
I've got
responsible for the
the
prices
remix
of those records going up.
Yeah, I've got
You know
that one
right?
as well.
Yeah.
So,
Really done.
Gary, if you are watching, could you just sign these bloody things?
This sleeve folds out into a poster. Got James Hunt on one side.
Wow.
And finally,
Oh,
in honour of our Japanese friend.
Yeah.
Fashion.
How do you say "here in my car," Michael, in Japanese?
And that's it.
Okay.
Salut, Stunty.
Got Stunty in tonight. Good evening, Stunty. Welcome on board.
Could I just show you my first record I ever owned? I've
Please
got it
don't.
here. Make me big.
No,
Right.
no, we have no time for that. No.
Just
no.
very quickly. Right. The first record I ever owned.
Oh.
I can beat that.
Many
I can
copies.
beat that.
Original colouring in when I was young. Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Did you go over the lines?
I can beat that.
Okay.
Ooh, what's that?
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
And-
Rugby songs.
Yeah. It's a half man, half biscuit.
No, I had the Trumpton one. I don't know where it is, but I had all three.
Yeah.
And this one,
there you are,
I've seen it.
this has got Postman, which I think's name's. What's the postman's name?
I think we just lost Stunty.
Pat. And Dusty Miller on the B side.
I bought a couple of things this week. If you want to have a look.
Oh, we'll have a look. Yeah.
Have a look. See what you got.
Okay.
You
Right.
ready?
I'll show this. I'll show this one quickly because I've shown it about 3 times now. So first pressing, but I might as well show it on your live stream because I've shown it everywhere else. Okay, just a couple of things. If you didn't have any Eric Clapton in your collection and you were going to recommend one compilation, which one would it be?
None of them.
None of them. I would just get the first one that Delaney Bramlett produced.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
it.
449. The history of Clapton. I do have some Eric Clapton, but yeah. So there's just a mixture there. Double LP. Clapton. Okay. Who knows about?
Do you know that record, History of Clapton, was released because they didn't have faith in Layla, and it was, and they also thought that Clapton was gonna die, right, from heroin abuse. I'm telling a story here.
Well, that's cheerful. Who knows about anything about Mike Oldfield?
Yeah,
Tubular Bells soundtrack from The Exorcist.
So if you were going to have a compilation and you didn't have any Mike Oldfield, which compilation would you recommend?
Oh, the complete's not too bad.
You mean the complete Mike Oldfield?
Yeah. That's a good one to have.
Yeah,
it's got some rare live stuff on it as well.
When did that come out, Stevie?
Oh gosh, no, you put me on the spot here.
85, something like
85. It says.
Rather nice.
There. 85. Yeah, I thought so. It's got a good. Sort of mixture and some live stuff. So I think for £4, I'd have that. Right. So that's all. Make this all. Thank you.
Okay.
Does it have the Christmas one on there, Steve?
You mean? Is that Portsmouth? It's got Portsmouth.
No,
it's
Dolce Jubilo, is that?
No, I've always called it that because as a kid I didn't say it properly. And
no, it's got the Killing Fields one. Etude.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful song.
No, I can't see. There is one for Romy.
Yeah, it's track 4.
Yeah,
it's track 4 and side 1.
There's one for Romy there.
To France.
Don't know why you say that. I don't know why you say that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Why does he say that, Romy?
I don't know. Anyway, okay, sorry.
No, I like that song. It's a beautiful song.
Yeah. I thought, £4. That's pretty good.
Excellent.
Mike Oldfield. Thank you very much.
What was the name of that singer?
Maggie Riley.
Maggie Riley. Thank you. You are playing Mike. Yeah.
Backstage,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So,
can I just show you something else that I picked up at Record Fair that I didn't show?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It's a box set. It's a box set, and I think Richard might be interested in this. And it's yeah, I think it's from 2019, but it was brand new.
Can you bring it a bit closer?
Yeah. There you go. So
about 2019.
Right, yeah, that sounds about right. So a few weeks back, Richard was showing a load of picture sleeves because in the early 70s in the UK, picture sleeves were virtually non-existent, weren't they? So this is what these are. They're sort of various European picture sleeves that have been reproduced. So you got "Because I Love You." In fact, they're all the same on the back. What have we got here? "Take Me Back Home," and "Mama, We're All Crazy Now."
That's a good
wow.
It's cool.
Yeah, good stuff, isn't it? And there you go. "Goodbye to Jane."
Yes, I like the cover.
Yeah, I won't let it happen
I like
again.
the B side of that.
Yeah, I won't let it happen again.
Yeah, I love that.
Is that the B side of the British one? I can't remember.
No, I just like the song.
Ah.
How much for the slates, sir?
Yeah, there we go. "Come On, Feel the Noise." And "Squeeze Me, Please Me."
Oh, that's a brilliant tune.
They're really nice condition.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. Then we've got "My Friend Stan." And judging by the cover there, that looks Spanish to me. And then one of my favourites, "Every Day." And another one of my favourites, probably my most favourite, is "Far, Far Away."
Yeah, that's my favourite as well.
And then finally, there was this one, which was just a facsimile of a test pressing. So that's Night Starvation and When I'm Dancing, I Ain't Fighting.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love the live
there you go.
version
So
of that.
I saw that. I saw that at the record fair, and I thought I've got to have that. Luckily, I got a good price for it because the guy could have fleeced me if he wanted to. Because you know what it's like sometimes. You decide I've got to have that.
Yeah, I've got a couple of singles coming my way. I haven't got them yet. One is a Slade single, My Oh My, and a version of the Osmonds, Crazy Horses.
Oh yeah, they're rock phase, yeah.
Yeah. They're coming from my brother's friend. Now, I was talking to my brother this week. She got all the singles out, and she was sort of he was showing them on WhatsApp. And I says, no, you don't want to show them on WhatsApp. You want to come up on the live stream and meet the gang. Yeah. So when he's got a Thursday free on the Thursday evening, you'll be able to meet my little brother.
Oh, good.
And he just support the channel, and he's really pleased that it's going well. He's got a TikTok where he does funny sort of parody sort of things, of singing and taking the mickey out of songs. So he's not shy. Did
he have a part in Commando?
No, he won't mind me saying this. In our family, you either keep your hair or you go bald or you go thin. And he was looking like Friar Tuck, and he's 10 years younger than me. So he decided to shave it all off. But he looks like Fester.
Ah.
I call him Fester now.
Oh, God.
I've got a
Fester or Vesta?
Fester from
the Addams family.
Not Vesta as in the curry.
On his TikTok. Fester. I take the mickey out of him, and he makes a video of himself. So he'll just fit into this loony bin, I think.
I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be coming up soon to say hello to everyone and show these singles.
No,
I've seen them all, and there's some great singles. Some of you're going to go, oh my God, but some you're going to go, wow. So,
I picked up a nice compilation last week when I brought those 45s when I showed those from the same record shop. This is really nice. Make us big then.
There we go.
Look at this.
Oh,
Very nice.
Yeah, this is £25 and it goes for about 35 on Amazon. And I've been after this since it came out. I think they do a black vinyl, and I think they do a purple and translucent purple.
Yeah.
I don't know Desmond Becker. Can you tell me a bit about him?
Desmond Becker.
Yeah.
60s ska artist, I would say.
Yeah.
Would that be correct? I think he went on
ska, reggae.
Reggae.
Yeah, but if it's on Trojan, it must be good, mustn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other one.
I've got a T-shirt to go with that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. You've got a good price for that. Mate.
Yeah, it's a good bargain. It was the first record I saw in the shop, and I thought that's coming home with me.
I've got a place for that.
Yes. Yeah, it's got all the hits. Let's see.
His most famous song is The Israelites.
Yeah, that's the first track. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I get to number one, Nick?
Sorry?
Did I get to number one, Israelites?
Yeah, I think it was the very first reggae number one in Britain.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think you're right there, Nick. I think it was a bit different for us, wasn't it? It was a huge hit.
I actually saw him live, 1985, at the Isle of Wight Scooter Rally.
Oh, brilliant!
Wow.
He did all of them: the Israelites, Shantytown, It Mech. Brilliant. We were right down the front as well, near the stage. He had his army greens on, his beret. and he got the crowd jumping. He was fantastic.
Hang on, I'm
Absolutely. Sorry, go on. You carry on.
No, I'm just saying. Me and Dave had a bit of a confusion.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I saw him. Of course, he's no longer with us.
No.
Yeah.
While you're there, Nick, have you got a copy of that?
Flashing the light.
No, I haven't. I know where I can get hold of one.
Right.
Well, folks, it's that time of night, so grab something. And Jimmy, if you don't know, we do a little for the thumbnail. You have to show something you've shown, so we know what he's showing.
Yeah, Jimmy, you know what? Yeah, there you go.
I show something crap.
He's lost.
Hang on, I'm going to show the best of.
I'm waiting
Best
for
album.
one.
We just got to wait for Simon.
Oh, hang on, sorry.
That's all right. Oh, that's a good one to
There
show.
we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1. There we go.
Thank you very much. Well, first person I'm going to thank is Jimmy. Thank you for coming up, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Cheers.
So when is your live stream? Give it one more plug.
Yeah, we're back this Sunday at 8 o'clock GMT.
Plenty of them. Michael, do you want to give your?
It'll be
yours a
this
plug as
Sunday at 11 a.m. UK time with Stevie, myself, and Harris Pilton on my channel.
Cool.
Brilliant. And Simon, are you playing tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be on at 8 o'clock tomorrow. So, somewhere between 8 and 9 anyway.
Oh, who's got music?
I think this guy.
I think it's Mr. Butty.
It's not me.
Where does that come from?
Oh, right.
I don't know.
Anyway, so
Um,
the
commiserations
British
to
invasion of
Jimmy.
life-
Commiserations to Jimmy. The current vote is the biggest vote we've had so far in the whole Battle Royale. I'm sorry, you're losing.
Biggest
Yeah.
as well.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we've had 99 votes.
The
so far.
minor flesh wound.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
once again, thank you
Yeah,
very
you-
much for a wonderful panel.
Should have showed this
and
one
that-
for thumbnail.
Yes. Yeah. There's plenty of British-based live streams and a wonderful one live from China this weekend. Plenty for you to watch. Please go and support these guys. They deserve as much credit as I and Simon get. It's just brilliant to have more live streams from the UK. So thank you for Jimmy, Ramon, Stevie, Michael,
Yeah.
Nick, Simon, and of course my wonderful wingman Dave. We'll see you all next week. Take care.
God
everybody.
Yeah, bye-bye.
God bless.
What the hell?